properly, because this is something that is going to help you in getting those reading section scores. So if you're lacking in reading section, this is a good idea to practice. And we're going to talk about several different ways in which you can solve fill in the blanks in a very easy manner if you remember the rules. So if the question looks something like this in exam, you get a passage on the screen which is not more than 100 words, along with few answer options at the lower part of the screen, from where you have to select basically one single answer for one particular blank. Now in this question type, they are giving you scores based on the correct answer or incorrect answer. So let's say if your answer is correct, in that case it is going to give you 1 point. If your answer is wrong, in that case it is going to give you 0. So it's quite crucial that you do it properly. And in this question, basically we have to look at some certain aspects. In today's class, we're going to look at the grammar concepts. So we're going to talk about 10 rules related to grammar. You also need to understand what are the different type of word forms as well, because word forms are going to help you in identifying that, okay, this word is a noun or this word is a verb. And we're going to talk about that as well in the video, so just be with me. The third thing is about identifying collocations. So I'm not going to discuss collocation in this video, but probably in our next class or in the next video, I'll be uploading how you can learn the collocations and what are the different types of collocations present in English. So let's get started. So before we start with the grammar rules, it's important that you are able to identify different type of word forms. So as I said, you're required to identify word forms. Now, word forms basically means a word in English. It can exist in several different forms. So it can exist basically in 4 different word forms, such as a noun, verb, adjective, and an adverb. So let's have a look at small definitions about it so you can identify those kind of words properly. So basically, when we talk about noun, we are looking at the name of a person, place, or a thing. When we are talking about a verb, so verbs are actions. So any word that is expressing an action or that is describing a person is doing something, that is called as a verb. So for example, we have words like run or eat. They are all verbs. When we talk about nouns, it can be anything, name of a person, place, or a thing. So it could be, let's say, a chair, a pen, a girl, etc. Now, when we talk about adjectives, adjectives are basically those type of words that describes or are modifying a noun. So they are related to the nouns. So they talk in detail or they describe the noun. So for example, if I say a girl, right? So girl is a noun. And if I want to talk in detail what kind of girl, then I would use an adjective before that particular noun. So if I say young girl, so in this case, young is an adjective. If I say chair, then what kind of chair? If it's a black chair, green chair, so that words black and green, they are adjectives. And adverbs basically is a huge category, of word form. It has several different functions. So sometimes they modify any verbs. They sometimes modify an adjective, and sometimes they also can modify another adverb as well. So if I say she was running, right? So how was she running? She was running swiftly. She was eating slowly, anything. So words like swiftly or slowly, they are all adverbs. So they either modify a verb, sometimes they also modify an adjective. and sometimes adverbs modify adverbs themselves as well. So this is something to keep in your mind whenever you're trying to solve fill in the blanks, because that's very, very crucial for your for solving the blanks correctly. So let's get started with the grammar rules. Now, before we talk about the grammar rules, I want to talk about the past participles, because most of the grammar rules are related to the past participles. So a verb normally can exist in 3 different forms: verb 1, verb 2, and verb 3. So verb 1 is the root verb. This is simple past. The verb 2 form is simple past. And verb 3 is the past participle. Now, whenever we are talking about past participles, we are looking at the verb 3 form. So if you look at the verbs such as stop, so the verb 2 would be stopped, and verb 3 here would be stopped as well. Depends on whether the verb is a regular verb or an irregular verb. So there are some common endings associated with this word forms related to past participles. So any word that is ending with ed, n, d, en, or t, they are all past participles or the third form of the verb. So in here, basically, we are going to have a look at few examples before we move to the grammar tips. So when you look at the verbs, we have the V1 form in here. So stop, to stop. The past participle of that word is stopped. Draw, drawn. Sell, sold. Swell, swollen. Bend, bent. So ed, n, d, en, and t word endings. This is something to note down. So if you can refer to it later on as well when you're trying to solve the blanks. So you can quickly identify, okay, I need a past participle in this blank. And if you know the word endings quite correctly, then it makes it easy for you to, extract those words from the below options that you get in the questions. So the first grammar rule. Now, the first grammar rule is about the verbs such as has, have, and had. If any of these verbs are there and after this verb there is a blank, so in that blank we need to put the third form of the verb, the past participle. Remember this. So has, have, or had, they are always followed by the third form of the verb. Now, in some examples here. So you have been registered. Now, been is the third form of the verb here. That is, the root form is be. The second form of the verb is basically is, am, are. That is the first form, sorry. When we talk about the second form of the verb, it is was or were. And when we talk about the past participle, it becomes been. So you have been registered. So this is the V3 in here. Let's have a look at another example. The doctor had examined him. So remember the words ending with ed. So again, this is a past participle, V3. Then she has completed the task. So after has, we also use the V3 form of the verb. Now, the second grammar rule. The second grammar rule is related to was and were. Again, the verbs. And they are also followed by the third form of the verb, that is past participle. So, some examples for this one would be I was drawing, then she was embarrassed, something like this. So, if you had heard what I said, I was drawing something. So sometimes these verbs like is, am, are, was, were, they could also be followed by the first form of the verb plus ing. So I was drawing. So draw plus ing, drawing. Or it could be past participle as well, like I was embarrassed or they were embarrassed. So the verb, this is the helping verb, the to be verb, and it's followed by the verb 3, that is past participle in here. Then she was irritated by the noise. So again here the word irritated is the verb 3 and it's followed by was. So whenever you get a blank, for example, it's like if I had a gap after was. So in this case, I need to quickly think about it that, yeah, in this particular place, I'm looking for a verb 3 that is past participles. So that helps you to identify and minimize the chances of selecting the wrong answers. You also have to make sure that you're looking at the meaning of the sentences, but sometimes it's quite a good idea to just know the rules. So they are going to see their friends, verb, the first form of the verb plus ing, and he is working tonight, again verb 1 plus ing. Now the third form of the rule. It's about the verbs like be, been, or being. They are also followed by the third form of the verb. So let's have some examples here. She will be registered. So be, right? And it's followed by the V3 in here as well. That is past participle. Then your profile has been created. So again, helping verb is been and created is the V3 in here. So if you get a blank after the word be, for example, or after the word been, most probably it is verb 3. Your work is being carried out. So again, being is a helping verb in here and it's followed by the past participle here as well. Now the fourth grammar rule. The fourth grammar rule is basically related to the preposition. So if you have the preposition to, for example, and then you get a blank after it. So remember, always to is followed by the first form of the verb. So for example, to eat, to sleep, right? So this kind of blanks need the first form of the verb, not the past participle. So some examples here. We planned to take a holiday. So to take here is the past participle. Not the past participle, it's the first form of the verb, sorry, yeah. And then she decided to stay home. So stay, again, is the verb 1. Now the next grammar rule, it's about the preposition, the other prepositions except to. So other prepositions might include words like for, with, in, at, etc. So they are followed by the verb plus ing form. So let's have a look at some examples here. Thanks for giving me a ride. So if you get a blank, let's say after the word for, it could be verb plus ing in that place. Or benefits of doing this task are many. So of doing, so again we have the verb plus ing in here. So those were the grammar rules related to prepositions. Now we're going to have a look at one more grammar rule that is about the articles. Now in English we have two different types of articles. So one is basically the indefinite article and the other one is definite article. So when we are talking about the definite articles, we are trying to look at the words like the, and if it is indefinite article, it is a or n. Now remember, we always use articles before the noun. Okay, so for example, let's say you get a blank after A. So in this particular case, it would be a noun. So if you look at the answer options and find out what are the words that are nouns, they can help you and get an idea that, okay, this word would be fitting here correctly. Now, if you look at A or N, right, they are always followed by a word that is, if you look at N, for example, so it is always followed by a vowel sound. So a word that is starting with a vowel sound. So for example, an umbrella, right? And whenever you have a, it is followed by a word starting with a consonant sound. So for example, a book. So this can also help you in minimizing the mistakes and helping you to find the correct answer as well. Now, the next rule is about the. It's also followed by a noun. So for example, a ride, an orange, and the book. Now, not always an article is followed by a noun. So for example, let's say if you get a blank after A, there is a blank and then there is the word book. So we know by looking at this that this word is a noun. And then you have the article here. So what is missing here? It's an adjective that is missing in here. So sometimes when the sentence has the noun present in it and a blank is present between an article and a noun, then we are looking for an adjective to fill that particular blank. So if you look at the examples in here, we have a long ride. So the word long is an adjective. The green book. So green again is an adjective. So a dash book, a brown book, I say. So yeah. Or a big book or a long book. So this kind of adjectives are going to be there if there is noun already present in the sentence. So don't just blindly solve the blanks. Look at the entire sentence first before trying to solve the blank. See whether after the particular blank, if you have a noun or not. So that will help you to decide whether you're going to look for an adjective or a noun. Now the next rule, that is the 8th grammar rule, it's about modals. Now modals are the words that we basically use to show a degree of certainty or uncertainty about something. So for example, if I say I will go to market. So will is a modal. I can go to market. I could go to market. I may go to market, or I might go to market. So if you listen to all the examples, you find one thing in common. That is the word go. And what is go? Go is the first form of the verb. So remember the 8th grammar rule. It's about modals, and modals are always followed by the first form of the verb. So let's say if you have a blank after the word can. So in that particular case, you're looking for V1. That is the first form of the verb. So some examples in here. I should finish the task. So finish the task. Here we have the verb 1. I can't speak English. So again, we have the verb 1 here. So that's about the modals. I might call her tomorrow. So again, call is the verb 1. Yeah. Guys, if you have any doubts in the meanwhile, you can post it in the comments so that I can help you with that. Now, looking at the 9th grammar rule, we are looking at different types of things related to modals. We have already talked about them. I should finish the task. I can speak English. I might call her tomorrow. Yeah. sorry. So this is the last grammar rule, which is about the word many. So if you find a blank, let's say it starts with many or anywhere it is, and then you have the blank after many. So remember, after many we always look for a noun, but that noun needs to be in plural form. So you look at the noun which is plural. So that helps you to minimize the issues that you might be having. So for example, let's say many tasks, many languages, many assignments. So a noun in the plural form. Now, if you guys have any problems or you want to talk about anything, feel free to ask them in comments. Now, we're going to have a look at how to solve the fill in the blanks properly. So, the first thing is to read the whole text quickly to make sure you understand the general topic and the meaning of the entire sentences. That's very, very crucial when you're trying to solve fill in the blanks. You look at the sentences, you understand the core meaning, at least the general meaning, just getting an idea about it. That's very, very crucial. And then you have to look at the context that is present around the gap. So what are the words that are present before and after the blank? So you get an idea that what kind of word or the type of word is missing in that particular blank, whether it's a noun, whether it's an adjective, or it's an adverb or an adjective. So that helps you to identify. And if you remember the grammar rules and if you look at the meaning of the sentences, it will give you an idea that, okay, this word is going to fit there correctly in the blank. Now, we're going to solve 5 latest questions related to PTE exam. So let's start with that. So the first question that I want you to solve is this one. Those who are watching can post the answers in the chat, so I know if you are doing it correctly or not. So let's have a look at this question. This is one of the recent exam question that has been released very recently. So it says, this MPhil dash students from a wide range of academic, business and political dash to the traditions, methods and state-of-the-art research that shape an advanced analysis of human society. So it's related to MPhil and it's related to shaping analysis of human society, right? So let's have a look at the particular blank in here. So this MPhil dash students. So if you look at it, this sentence, you need a verb. You immediately know that the action is missing in here. So this MPhil dash students from a wide range of academic, business and political dash to the traditions. So if you look at the blank in here, we need a noun. And we have an answer from Fiza. Very good, Fiza. So we needed a verb in here, and that verb needed to be in a plural form to fit with the grammar correctly, the subject-verb agreement. So we have 2 answer options in here. Simply, separates and introduces. So the correct answer for this one would be introduces. Good work, Chetan, Dhaval and Fiza. Very good. So for the first blank, we have introduces. So this MPhil introduces students from a wide range of academic, business and political dash. Now, if you look at these words, academic, business, political, they are all adjectives. And most of the times, adjectives are followed by a noun. So what kind of adjectives are they? They are talking about backgrounds. Good work, Chetan. Good work, Fiza. Very good. So the second answer in this case would be backgrounds. Now, let's have a look at the next blank. So it says the MPhil is an 11-month course designed for those who wish to go on to do doctoral research or dash for those who dash want to improve their understanding of methodology. So in here, if you look at this, we have the conjunction or, right? And if we talk about the conjunction or, the role of it is to basically try to combine two different phrases together, which are kind of the options. So if you look at this meaning of the sentence, it says they are for this kind of people or the other kind of people. So what are the other type of people? And if you look at the blank here, dash for those. So this blank particularly needs an adverb in it. And if you look at the answer options, we have the word equally and mutually and simply. These three are the adverbs. And if you look at the meaning of the sentence, yes, the correct answer in here would be equally. So this is your third answer. So, or equally for those who dash want to improve their understanding. Now, if you look at the word want, it's a verb. And normally, when we are trying to describe a verb, it's an adverb again. So, or for those who simply want to improve their understanding. Very good, guys. I see a lot of correct answers. Good work, Chetan, Dawal, Mohammed, then Binny. Very good. Good work, Palak. Good work. So the fourth answer in this case is simply. Very good, guys. Now let's have a look at the next question. This is again one of the recent exam questions from the exam. So let's read through it and try to solve this one together as well. So it says, many famous geographers and non-geographers have attempted to define the discipline in a few short words. The concept has also changed throughout the ages, making it difficult to create a dash universal geography definition for such a dynamic and all-encompassing subject. So if you look at the blank here, it's preceded by the article. Remember the article rule? So whenever there is an article, you need to look at the words present after the blank. What are they? So if you look at it here, universal is an adjective, and before universal you have a comma. So probably we might be having another adjective in here as well. So and the noun in this case is geographic definition, right? So we need to look for an adjective. So that adjective could be complex or it could be concise. Now if you look at the meaning of the sentence, we are trying to create a definition that is more concise and universal, right? So good work, Fiza. Very good. You're able to solve this one correctly. So we are not trying to create a complex definition in here. We're trying to create a concise definition. Good work, Chetan. So the second answer, the first answer in this case would be concise. Now let's have a look at the next sentence. It says, after all, Earth is a big place with many dash to study. So after all, Earth is a big place with many dash to study. Now do you remember the 10th rule that we talked about? If you have a blank after many, it's always followed by a noun, and that noun needs to be in plural form. So a plural noun. And if you look at the answer options, we have words like resources, options, facets, and methods. Now, if you look at the meaning of the sentence, we are trying to look for a word that is giving us the entire meaning of the sentence. Now, this one is a little bit tricky one, guys, so listen to me carefully. Here, we are saying, after all, Earth is a big place with many dash to study. So many resources to study. Can we study resources? Or with many methods to study. Does Earth has methods? No. many facets to study? It could be facets. Now, if you look at the meaning of the word facet, we are trying to look at different features or aspects. So, when we say, after all, Earth is a big place with many things to study, right? So, with many aspects to study. So, the correct answer for the second blank in here would be facets. Not resources, not surface. You have to always look at the meaning of the sentences, whether the word that you're selecting is giving us the correct meaning of the sentence or not. Think about that as well. And Mohammed, make sure you remember the grammar rule. After many, we always use the noun in the plural form. So that's why it won't be surface. Good work, Chetan. Good work. All right, so now let's have a look at the next sentence and find out what we need for the third blank. So it says it affects and is affected by the people who live there and use its dash. So use its what? Use Earth's what? Earth's surface or resources. What can we use? Think about from the meanings perspective, guys. What would be the third answer? Good work, Chetan. Good work, Fiza. Yes, so we are trying to use resources. We can't use surface. We can't use methods when it's related to Earth. So we are using resources. Good work, Yuvraj, as well. So the third answer in this case is resources. Now let's have a look at the next sentence. It says, but basically geography is the study of the dash of Earth and the people who live there and all that encompasses. So geography is the study of the dash of the Earth. Fine. So basically here, if you look at it, we have another preposition, so we don't need to worry about what's present after the blank. So just the grammar rule applied. If there is an article, a, an, or the, and then it's a blank and no noun is present after the blank, in that particular case we are looking for a noun. So if you look at the answer options, we have surface, we have resources, we have methods. But if you look at the grammar, we are looking for a word that is in singular form. So geography is the study of the surface. Good work. Good work, Fiza. Good work, Palak. So the fourth answer would be surface. Good work, guys. A lot of correct answers. Alright, so let's move to the question number 3. Again, a new question from the exam. So let's have a look at the question. So it says the wool market was extremely important to the English medieval economy and wool dashed the English export trade from the late 13th century to its dash in the late 15th century. So wool dash, we don't know what it is, right? So if you look at the meaning of the sentence and if you look at its structure, we have the word end. End again is a conjunction. Basically it's a coordinating conjunction in here. And if you look at the purpose of end always connects it always connects two similar kind of things together. So for example, here it says wool market was extremely important to the English medieval economy. So it was important for the English medieval economy, and wool dash the English export trade from the late 13th century to its dash in the late 15th century. So again, we are looking at a verb, right? So wool dash. And if you look at the meaning of the sentence here and the tense that we have used in here, both of the sentences, the clauses in here are in past tense. So if you look at here, wool dash, we need a past participle. So wool bureaucratic doesn't make sense. Wool dominating the export trade could be, or political doesn't make sense, right? So it could have been dominated or dominating. But if you look at the sentence structure and the tense at the grammar, we need a word that is talking about the past. So because we are talking about the late 13th century, right? So wool dominated the English export trade. Okay, so the first answer in this case is dominated. Good work, Fiza. Yeah, a little bit work here, Chetan, because we are looking at past tense. Remember, it won't be dominating at all, because was extremely important, past tense, and dominated something during the late 13th century. We are not in 13th century right now, right? So that's why. Now it says to its, so it's dominated export from 13th century to its dash in the late 15th century. So we lead something to something, right? So dominating to decline. Good work, Chetan. So in this case, we need a verb and we need it in its first form. Remember the rule, after to, we always use the first form of the verb. So if you look at the answer options, we have increase and decline. And if you look at the meaning, we're talking about decline. So your second answer in this case would be decline. Good work, guys. Good work. Now, let's have a look at the next question. Oh, sorry, I think I missed a blank. So it says, wool was at the forefront of the establishment of England as a European dash and economic power. So as a European dash. Remember the grammar rule about the articles? If you have an article and it's followed by an adjective, we need what? We need a noun. So if you look at the sentence and look at the blank, so it says a European dash and economic power, and this volume was the first study of the medieval wool market in over 20 years. So if you look at the blank and the words present after the blank, we have the word end, and after that we again have economic, right? So as European dash and economic power. So we already have the noun in here, right? So we are trying to search for another adjective in this case. And if you look at the answer options, we have some words like bureaucratic, political. Yep. So the correct answer in this case would be political. Good work, Surjit. Good work, Fiza. Good work, Chetan. So the third answer in this case is political. So as a European political and economic power, and this volume was the first study of the medieval wool market in over 20 years. So yeah, so the first answer in this case was dominated, then the second one was decline, and the third one is political. Now the second last question for today. So it's something related to Life Science Institute. So let's have a look at the question now. So it says here, the Life Science Institute at the University of Michigan achieves dash in biomedical research by bringing together the world's leading scientists from a variety of life science disciplines to dash breakthroughs and discoveries that will improve human health. So we are talking about some research, biomedical research at the University of Michigan. So it says achieves dash in biomedical research. So achieves something. So we need a noun. When we try to talk about something, it's always a noun, right? So here, achieves is a verb. There is a collocation combination, for example, a verb, and then it's followed by a noun. So for example, achieve a goal. So you can achieve a goal. You can achieve ambitions as well. You can achieve excellence as well. But if you look at the context here, it's talking about biomedical research, right? So we need to have a noun that is talking about that biomedical research. So we can have excellence in biomedical research. So very good, guys. Good work, Yuvraj, Sneha, Chetan, Palak. Good work. So the first answer in this case is excellence. Good work. Now the next one. It says bringing together the world's leading scientists from a variety of life science disciplines to dash. So breakthroughs, right? So remember the grammar rule. Whenever there is a blank after to, we need a verb 1, right? The first form of the verb. So if you look at the answer options, we have some verbs here such as quit, accelerate, right? So now think about the meaning of the sentence and try to find out which one fits correctly with the context and goes with the grammar as well. Is it accelerate or is it quit? It won't be positive here, Yuvraj. We are trying to look for a verb. Positive is an adjective. Okay. So, guys, listen to me carefully. Here, we have the word positive and it's an adjective. Okay. Now, if you look at the sentence, it says, in biomedical research, by bringing together the world's leading scientists from a variety of life science disciplines to dash breakthroughs and discoveries that will improve human health. So it's going to help in improving human health. Okay. So it's going to help us accelerate the things. So it's going to accelerate, speed up the process. So it won't be positive breakthroughs. I know positive is an adjective and breakthroughs is a noun, so it fits there. But if you look at the meaning of the sentence, we are not looking at positive. We are looking at the word accelerate, looking for a verb there. So variety of life science disciplines to accelerate breakthroughs and discoveries that will improve human health. Makes more sense. Good try, guys. Good try. Good work. So now let's have a look at the last blank. So it says, with close to 400 scientific staff members, the LSI is exploiting the power of a dash and interdisciplinary approach to a biomedical research in an open laboratory facility. So the power of a dash and interdisciplinary approach. So we again have the word end and after the word end we have another adjective, and that's followed by a noun. So probably in this case we also need an adjective. And if you look at the answer options, how many adjectives do we have? Collaborative and positive. So we're talking about 400 scientific staff members here. So they are working close to each other. So they are trying to collaborate with each other. Yes. So good work, guys. Good work, Sneha, Fiza, Yuvraj, Anjali, and Angela, and Chaitan. Good work. So the third answer in this case is collaborative. Good work. Now the last question for today's class. Let's have a look at the question. It's something related to reading. So let's start with this. So it says reading is an active process, not a dash one. So we have the word here, not, right? Not is trying to talk about something opposite in here. So when you quickly read the sentence, just keep that in your mind that you're trying to look for something opposite. And what is the opposite of the word active? Very good. Good work, Sneha. So we are looking at passive one, right? So we are looking at passive process. So for the first blank, we need passive. So that's your answer. Yep. So reading is an active process, not a passive one. We always read within a dash context. So again, the grammar rule applies in here. Which is an article. Then we have a blank, and then we have context, that is a noun, right? So we again need an adjective in this case. Let's have a look at the answer options and find out which could be present in there. So if you look at the answer options, we have some adjectives within a specific context, within a digital context. Which one goes with the meaning? Good work. Good work, Angela, Yuvraj, Sneha, Fiza. So within a specific context. So for your second blank, we have the answer specific. Now let's have a look at the next sentence. It says, we always have a purpose in reading a text, and this will shape how we dash it. So how we dash it. So it sounds like we are missing a verb in here, right? So how we determine it, how we approach it, how we ingrained it. What would be the correct answer in this case? And this will shape how we dash it. Okay? Now we are talking about reading a text. Remember, that's the context in here. So it says we always have a purpose. Whenever you're reading a text, for example, you're trying to solve this fill in the blank. So you have a purpose that you're trying to find out the words that are missing, right? So you're reading for a purpose, and that purpose is going to shape how you're going to dash it, how you're going to approach it. Very good. Good work, Surajit, Angela. So the correct answer in this case would be approach and not determine. Look at the meaning of the sentences, guys. Just knowing what type of verb is missing is not important. It's also important to look at the meaning of the sentences. So that's why it's not determine, it's approach. Okay? Now the last blank for today's class. So it says our purpose and background knowledge will also dash the strategies we use to read the text. So our purpose and background knowledge will also dash the strategies we use to read the text. So again, we need a verb. In this case as well, and it's in its first form. So we already used approach. So for the last answer, it would be what? It would be good work, Sneha. Good work, Yuvraj. Good work. Yep. So in this case, we have the last answer as determine. Good job, guys. So the first answer was passive, second was specific, third one was approach, and the last one is determine. Good work, Chetan, Surjit. Good work, guys. So I guess that's the end of our session for today. I hope this session helps you in solving the blanks correctly. In the next sessions, maybe we will talk about the collocations and how we can use that to solve the questions. So if you guys have any doubts or you want to ask me anything, you can let me know here in the comments. And guys, I'm going to start the group classes from the 4th August. If you're interested to enroll in the group class, you can text me or call me on WhatsApp. My number is present in the lower part of the screen. So just get in contact if you're struggling to get the scores in exam. I'm also providing one-on-one coaching as well. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me there as well. So that's it for today's class, guys. I saw a good work in here by all the students. Good luck for your preparation, and I'll see you probably on Friday with a new session. Thank you, everyone.